Hello. This video contains spoilers for Master of the Air Episode 5. Is John Egan captured by the Germans? His fate after Masters of the Air Episode 5 explained. The Munich raid was a disastrous mission for the 100th Bomb Group, depleting their ranks and leaving only a few survivors. Following the Munich raid, Major John Egan became a prisoner of war and was detained at Stalag Luft-Roman 3 until the war ended in 1945. Egan's best buddy, Gale "Buck" Cleven, ended up in the same prisoner of war camp, and the two remained together throughout the war, forging a great bond. During Episode 5 of Masters of the Air, Major John "Bucky" Egan is dealing with the presumed death of his best friend Gale "Buck" Cleven. But his situation worsens when he joins the infamous Munich raid, which sends him parachuting out of his plane and onto German territory, with a dangerous future ahead of him. The Munich raid was a real mission carried out by the 100th Bomb Group in October 1943 during the tragic Black Week. In a few days, the 100th's ranks were completely destroyed, leaving just a few lucky survivors. The Munich raid was one of the most disastrous missions the 100th undertook in 1943. Although 17 planes were dispatched for the mission, 4 returned due to mechanical failure, and only 1 survived the raid. Lieutenant Colonel Robert Rosie Rosenthal piloted this plane. The remaining members of the 100th, including Major John Egan, were either killed in combat or went missing. Thankfully, Egan was the latter. In the episode, Egan lands in German territory and quickly seeks refuge before attempting to flee to England. After Episode 5 of Masters of the Air, John Egan becomes a prisoner of war. Major John Egan became a POW following the Munich raid in Masters of the Air Episode 5. Though he most certainly attempted to return to England, like Major William Quinn in Masters of the Air Episode 4, he was eventually apprehended by German soldiers and taken to a prisoner of war camp. Egan was taken to Stalag Luft-Roman 3, a camp reserved for Western Allied Air Force members. Egan spent the remainder of the war in the camp, staying there from October 1943 until the conclusion of the war in 1945. According to the American Air Museum, Stalag Luft-Roman 3 was the site of numerous escape attempts, courtesy of squadron leader Roger Bushell. He and many other prisoners, maybe Major Egan, attempted escapes in order to confound and disturb the German soldiers stationed at the camp. Finally, in 1945, as Allied forces drew in, the POWs of Stalag Luft-Roman 3 were forced to flee the camp, enduring harsh winter circumstances and widespread sickness. After 5 hard days and nights, Egan and the other men were finally rescued and repatriated to the United States. John Egan is imprisoned alongside Gale "Buck" Cleven, Master of the Air Buck and Bucky Laugh. Major John Egan's detention was significant in that his missing best friend, Gale "Buck" Cleven, was also detained at Stalag Luft-Roman 3. Although Masters of the Air was unclear about what happened to Cleven after Episode 4, and even hinted at his death, the truth is that Cleven survived the Bremen mission. Cleven's plane was damaged, but he was able to land it in German territory before it exploded. Unfortunately, the plane crashed into the home of a German farmer, causing him and his crew to be apprehended shortly after their miraculous survival. When Egan arrived at Stalag Luft-Roman 3, presumably a few days after Cleven, the two were promptly reunited. Cleven reportedly asked Egan, "What the hell took you so long?" This allowed Cleven and Egan to stay together for the remainder of the war. During the long journey out of Stalag Luft-Roman 3 at the end of the war, the American Air Museum recorded that Cleven was able to escape. In any case, Cleven and Egan's friendship was one of the few bright spots in the 100th year of history. Thank you for watching.